Down to the river, wade in the water, go on under, come to the river.
Welcome to Down to the River with Pastor Adam from Oglesby Union Church. Down to the River is a fast 5 minutes to drink in some of the living water given to us by Jesus through studying His Word, the Bible. From Oglesby Union Church, here's Pastor Adam.
Many of our favorite religious Christmas carols have some pretty cool history to them. The backstory is sometimes very fascinating, so let's take some time this morning and look at a few. The first is O Come, O Come, Emmanuel. The first verse is, O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lowly exile here until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel, shall come to thee, O Israel. Now, the author of this carol remains unknown, but a widely acknowledged guess is a simple monk or nun of the 9th century. In the early 19th century, an Anglican priest named John Mason Neale was reading an ancient book of poetry and hymns, and he dusted off this unknown Latin poem, which was complete with music accompaniment. Now, Neale knew 20 languages, including Latin, and was able to translate this song into English. He lived in the Madeira Islands near Africa, where he had established an orphanage, a school for girls, and a ministry to reclaim prostitutes. Neale first played this hymn for the people he served, thought to be the lowest of society. And his first translation of this carol was not, O come, Emmanuel, but Draw nigh, Emmanuel. Now let's look at Hark the Herald Angels Sing. The first verse is, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With the angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Charles Wesley wrote this poem in 1739 to be recited on Christmas Day, but it wasn't the version we know today. The original had 10 four-line verses, and instead of singing glory to the newborn King, the line was glory to the King of Kings. A student of Wesley's named George Whitefield eliminated some of the verses we no longer sing and made the ones we do sing longer. And this is a classic example of some of our favorite carols that have changed over time. Also of note is that 100 years later, the music of this carol was added from the Gutenberg cantata written by the famous Felix Mendelssohn. Lastly, this morning, let's look at the carol O Holy Night, written in 1847. The first verse is, O holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, O hear the angel voices. O night divine, O night when Christ was born. O night, O holy night, O night divine. Now, a parish priest in a small French town commissioned a local poet, Placide Cappeau, to write a poem for the village's Christmas Eve Mass. Cappeau read through the birth of Christ in the Gospel of Luke en route to Paris and finished the poem O Holy Night by the time he reached the city. Cappeau turned to his friend, Mr. Adams, to compose the music to the poem, and 3 weeks later the song was sung in the village on Christmas Eve, and it was widely loved by the church in France. But when the leaders learned that Cappeau was a socialist and Mr. Adams was a Jew, the song was uniformly denounced as unfit for church services. But the common French people loved it so much they continued to sing it. The song came to the United States via John Dwight, an abolitionist during the Civil War. He was moved by a line in the third verse which says, Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. And he published that in a magazine and quickly found favor in the North during the war. But on Christmas Eve, 1871, in the midst of fierce fighting between France and Germany during the Franco-Persian War, an unarmed French soldier jumped out of the trenches, walked into the battlefield, and started to sing O Holy Night. After singing all 3 verses, a German soldier emerged and started to sing From Heaven Above to Earth I Come, a popular Christmas hymn written by Martin Luther. And the result was a truce for the next 24 hours in honor of Christmas Day. Join us this morning at 10:15 as our children reenact the first Christmas in our annual March to the Manger. A special offering will be taken for the Illinois Valley Food Pantry and the Oglesby Ambulance Association. I'm Pastor Adam, and Merry Christmas. Thanks for listening in this morning, and check out our website at ouc.life. And may you receive the blessings of God as you live your life to the glory of Him.
Join Pastor Adam this morning at Oglesby Union Church. They're right next to City Hall on Walnut Street, and their Sunday morning worship service starts at 10:15. Oglesby Union Church's mission is to know Jesus, grow in Him, go where He leads, and show His love. Drink more of the living water from Jesus today at Oglesby Union Church, and go down to the river again next Sunday morning at 8:25 on Classic Hits 103.9 WLPL.